quite a lot of members. And how many out of these members are looking to participate in the there? So the members who are thinking about it, let's hope by the end of the presentation, you will at least feel yes, okay, I can try it out. Okay? And for the guests, welcome. And for the guests, I just want you to see how seriously we take evaluation in Toastmasters. So when you heard the speeches given today, they're going to be evaluated in the next session. And we take evaluation very seriously, so seriously that we actually have a contest where all the Toastmasters compete each other to give the best evaluation to a test speech. Right? So this is basically the training for that, for this club. And the speech contest is on 12th September, so it's coming up pretty fast. Okay, so without can somebody just sit and do this? Okay, thank you. Please give a round of applause to my assistant. Okay, quickly. For the Toastmasters who have done an evaluation, received an evaluation, what makes a good evaluation? Constructive feedback. Thank you, Krishna.
That's
what
easy
else?
to apply and I can implement it.
Very implementable, something you can do immediately. What
Recommendations.
Recommendations to hona hi hai. What else? What makes it really good? What makes it successful?
Unique observations.
Unique observations. Yes, very nice. Something unique.
Encouragement.
Active listening.
Encouragement, very nice, very important. Encouragement.
Improvement. Non-bias.
Non-bias. Yes, I would like to have non-bias, but your personal biases generally do change it. But yes, that should be the goal. Non-bias. Yes.
Feedback. Evaluate the speech, but not evaluate the person.
Took a look at my presentation. Evaluate the speaker, but not the evaluate the speech, not the speaker himself. Yes.
The evaluation should help the speaker to get better.
Absolutely, that is the baseline. That is the mission critical of any evaluation. You have. It doesn't matter what kind of evaluation you give. You are not important. Speaker should improve. Speaker should become better. So quickly, just go through what are constructive feedback, useful observations, actionable points. It's no point just telling somebody, but if they can't apply it in their next speech, there is no point. Boosting the speaker's morale. You want the speaker to come to the next speech feeling motivated, right? If the evaluation is very bad, you may not want to give the next speech also. Especially for new Toastmasters who are just starting out the journey, it's very important to give evaluations which are important for boosting the speaker's morale. It feels they're coming, right? What are key skills? As if you want to be a really good evaluator, what are the key skills you need to develop? And as Toastmasters, you need to develop this as well. One is critical eye. When the speaker is speaking, all your attention should be on the speaker. You should be observing everything that they are doing. You have to have that critical eye. Another part is time management. Time management is when you are actually giving the evaluation. You are given 2 to 3 minutes to give that evaluation, as you will see in the media ahead. In that 2 to 3 minutes, you have to give a good evaluation, and that's a challenge. Trust me, you can't go on for 5-10 minutes going maxing eloquent on what feedback you have to give. So time management is critical, and time management is even more critical in the contest because you go over time, you get disqualified. Structured thinking. It's not only about giving feedback anyhow you want. You have to have it in a certain structure that makes sense to the speaker and to the audience. And lastly, basic speech skills. What do I mean by basic speech skills? If you want to give an evaluation, you should have at least come on stage at some point. Either given a table topic or given a speech or something, at least that you don't go on stage and you freeze. You should have some basic skills so you can give the evaluation, right? So that is the important things which you need to evaluate. And as you spend time in Toastmasters, these will come automatically. But not automatically, you have to attend meetings, but they will come as you attend more and more meetings, take part in the meetings more. These skills will get developed. I'm going to go fast, so if anybody has any questions, just raise their hand and we'll try to address them. Moving. Where do evaluations go wrong? How, in the experienced Toastmaster, how many of you had really terrible evaluations in your experience? Because no, hey, look at her, she didn't raise her hand. She's too sweet to say somebody may give her a good evaluation. But yes, all of us experience that, and that's part of Toastmaster life. Sometimes you get fantastic evaluations, sometimes you get very so-so evaluations. But what goes wrong during evaluation is lack of structure. The evaluator goes on and you have no idea what he's talking about. Took personal feedback. I didn't like the speaker's brown pants. No, that is not evaluation, right? Don't be personal. Like what he said, evaluate the speech, not the speaker. Irrelevant observation, something that doesn't make sense to the speaker, doesn't make sense to the audience, it only makes sense in your head. Try to avoid that. Too harsh, too critical, I've seen that, and it's really demoralizing for the speaker. So you have to find the mid path, not too harsh, not too sweet also. Just right, like the Goldilocks kind of evaluation. And you have to find the perfect place where the speaker learns something also and is motivated to give the speech again. Any questions so far? Alright, moving on. Now this entire evaluation, this entire education session is mostly tailored to the contest that is going to be coming up on the 12th. Right? So what is a evaluation speech contest? I'll tell you what happens. I'll set the stage for you, especially for the guests who have never seen an evaluation contest. A test speaker will come on stage. The test speaker are not known to the contestants, right? They're not somebody they're very familiar with. He will come and give a 5 to 7 minute speech, just like the speeches that you saw right now. And the contestants are all sitting among the audience and then making notes. Even after the speech is over, the contestants are given 5 minutes to write an evaluation, right? So they can write the evaluation while the speaker is speaking, and then after that they get 5 minutes additional during the contest. After that 5 minutes are up, which is basically time, all the contestants are asked to leave the room. The first contestant who is going to speak will remain in the room, the rest all will leave, right? And then one by one, the contestants will give their evaluation. Now what you have to keep in mind is the contestant coming afterwards, after the first one, hasn't heard the first one. So if Rowan is giving the evaluation, I am outside, I have not heard hers. So Rowan will sit down, I will come, I will give my evaluation, then Sham will come, he'll give the evaluation. So it's fair that nobody is biased against, nobody gets any feedback from anybody else's evaluation. Each speaker gives evaluation in a bubble, right? And there are judges going to be sitting among the audience who are going to be marking that evaluation. One of the very stringent criteria which I'll come to on the next slide. Each evaluation is 2 to 3 minutes. Keep this in mind, very important. 2 to 3 minutes with 30 seconds grace. So if you speak for more than 3 minutes, 30 seconds, you're out of the contest. So you have to balance your evaluation in such a way that all the sections of your evaluation fit nicely into those 3 minutes, 30 seconds. Judges mark each one of the individual. Any questions on the flow of the evaluation contest? Clear? Right? Okay, next. So the judges are sitting in the contest room. They are judging you. By the way, they are anonymous. You don't know who the judges are, right? Contestants don't know them. The normal members don't know who they are. Only the chief judge knows who the judges are, and they are judging you. Their sheet, judging balance sheet. They are judging you on these criteria. When I say you, now put yourself in the shoes of the contestant. You, the contestant, they are judging you on these criteria. So this balance sheet is available online. You can just Google it and you get it immediately. Search for Toastmaster Evaluation Contest Balance Sheet and you get a PDF. So it's available publicly. So this is not a secret. What are they evaluating you on? And this is very important to understand before you go into the contest. So for all the contestants and would-be contestants, study this before you go online. First is analytical quality, which is clear and focused. This is basically a catch-all for how well the entire evaluation is structured and flowed, and how well it was balanced in terms of recommendations and in terms of feedback, positive, negative, everything. So that is like a catch-all analytical quality. Second part is recommendations. This is the key. This is where improvement happens. What are recommendations? Which is not something that is wrong, what can be improved. It's a distinction. We are not saying he did something wrong. We are saying what can he do to improve. So your language has to be couched in this way that how can he improve? How can the test speaker improve? How can the speaker improve? So recommendations carry almost 30 marks. Analytical quality, overall speech structure, etc. were 40. So 40, 30, 70 marks are right there. And these are critical. Other parts of the speech is technique. when remember not too harsh, not too this, that comes under technique. So that also contains 15 marks. So that is also something you have to consider. How you give is also important, as important as what you give as your evaluation. Lastly is how you close the list. Evaluation is also a speech. Let me repeat that. An evaluation is also a speech. You're standing in front of an audience and you are giving a speech. Just because it's an evaluation, don't think it's not a speech. It's also a speech. And how you close that speech is also carries marks. How many of you are having flashback to your school days, exam sheet, test paper, mark sheets? Yeah? Benjamin, fail first. Yeah, just kidding. Okay, any questions on this? Especially the Toastmasters who are going to take part in the evaluation or are thinking of taking part in the evaluation. Yeah, Benjamin, go ahead.
So, time distribution. We have 3 minutes. approximately.
I'll come to that. Okay? I'll come to that. Any other questions?
Can guests can participate in this?
No, you'll have to be a tutor. So that's a good incentive to come. Yes?
What is the criteria to participate in the?
There is no criteria. If you are a member, there is no
Yeah.
criteria in the evaluation contest or the humorous speech contest. Both the contests coming up front, no criteria. You join, you are a member and you pay your fees. Paying the fees is the criteria. Other than that, you can just give your name when the nomination form comes out, put in your name. And trust me, if you are on the fence, go for it. Because I'll tell you something about contests which I personally, in my experience, contest is like, if your Toastmaster journey is like a train ride, a contest is like a rocket ship. It can just supercharge you ahead in your journey, right? Because that intensity, that rigor that comes from a contest, of preparing, giving a contest and evaluating a contest in your head and all that brings your Toastmaster journey, really powers it ahead. So consider it like a catalyst, right? Catalyst would be the right word, right? It catalyzes your Toastmaster journey. Yeah. Next.
Sir, so
Yeah.
even if you haven't given any evaluation till date,
Yes.
you still participate.
Yes. Go for it. But yeah, we still have a few days remaining till this, so you can maybe jump in and do an evaluation if you feel you don't have the experience. But you know what? Evaluation doesn't mean you come in front of the audience and do it. You can evaluate at home as well. You can practice evaluation in front of friends also. You can practice in front of fellow Toastmasters also. So don't wait for that formal evaluation to happen, then you take part. Don't worry about it. Yeah. Okay.
But guests can take part at least to see.
Guests can come as guests and
And see.
yes, but don't do that. Join the club. Okay. Any questions so far? I'm going very fast, but I think you are all on the same page, right? Okay. Next, 5 minutes. Yes.
So it is like a city contest or like it would be like harder?
I won't come. I'll answer that later on because this is going to go into a long discussion. Right now, just think of it as this is the club contest, Khargar's club contest. Later, you can go to this. This will be among you guys only, between members only. Nobody from outside will come. Yeah. Okay. 5 minutes. What is the 5 minutes I'm talking about? For those who will pay attention.
The in between.
Yes. So after the speaker is walked off the stage to applause, your contestants are given 5 minutes. And those 5 minutes for you are critical because the sheets which you will be given to write evaluation on, as you leave the room, when the contest starts, the sheets will be taken away. So whatever you have to write within that 5 minutes. When you come back on stage, you'll be given the sheet back. So don't look so surprised. Yeah. She got scared. The sheet is gone. No, the sheets will be given, but while you are in the waiting room, the sheets will not be there, so you cannot revise and prepare. Right? The sergeant will take away the sheets as soon as the 5 minutes are. So this 5 minutes will make or break your contest. Trust me on that. So what do we do in those 5 minutes? The speaker has spoken, you made some notations. Now the test speaker is gone and you got 5 minutes blank sheet. Structure. You have to start with the structure. Structure of the evaluation. Remember, what is the key to giving a good evaluation in the 3 minutes? And trust me, 3 minutes goes very fast. Is structure. You open appreciations, what went well. 2-3 recommendations, what can be improved. Summarize quickly, 1 line of summary. And closing. Close with an encouraging closing. you have to follow some form of this structure. You can use your own structure if you are experienced and you feel confident, but this is for beginners who are this structure makes sense. This PPT is shared on the group as well, so you don't need to take photographs of it. Entire PDF will share, right? But yeah, so opening, appreciation, recommendation, summary, and close. Make sense?
Yes.
Yeah, it's very logical, right? Like normally you would want in a speech. Next. Now, when I say structure, that is nicely to structure, but what do you do when the speaker is speaking and you have to note down the different things, right? This again comes to the same structure format which I am talking about. Is you can, there are certain structures we use commonly, which are shown on the this thing, in the presentation. You can use your structure as well. So that's the caveat. One of the structures which I like to use, which is why it gives the title of this presentation, Evaluate with Care, is CARE. So you have this blank sheet of paper, write CARE on the left. Connect is your opening of the evaluation speech. Encourage is your closing of the speech. Appreciations are all the good things you are noting about the speaker. Recommendations are all the things that you recommend that they can be improved and be made better. Similar thing can be just opening, appreciation, recommend, summary and closing, right? You can use the paper geographically as you want it. For example, on the right hand side, you can see we use opening and closing top half, and you use appreciation, recommendation, bottom quadrant. So as soon as I get my paper, I will draw a line across, and I got my quadrants to make notes accordingly. So go with a strategy. What this is, the whole point of all this is go with a strategy. Just don't go with an empty sheet of paper. Go with how you're going to put. I have worked with advanced speakers who have 14 different areas on their sheet. Too much, in my opinion. But they are like one area for body language, one area for eye movement, one area for, don't overdo it. But go with some sort of structured plan that when you start noting down what the speaker is doing, it goes in the right area. So I immediately appreciation go in the appreciation area, recommendations go in the recommendation area, etc. Right? So when you are, and this in your 5 minutes, it becomes very handy. Now one tip which I have is when the speaker is speaking, you write a rough copy of this, right? And once you get the 5 minutes, when the test speaker is out, you make a fair copy, which you will actually read and give the evaluation. By the way, when you are giving the evaluation, you will have the sheet in hand, and you know no points will be cut for having that sheet in hand. You can read and give the evaluation, right? Some of the advanced speakers you will see will give evaluation without the sheet, but I don't recommend you try that. Even today I don't do that. I have the sheet in hand. I might not read continuously from it, but I do have it, right? So rough copy, fair copy. That is a tactic which you can use. Sometimes you just have a rough copy and you use the rough copy to give the evaluation also if you are confident. Dividing your 3 minutes. Okay, dividing the 3 minutes, this is what you are asked, right? You have 3 minutes and let's say you want to do this. How would you break it up? Let's see if the audience can. How much do you think you should be for opening?
30 seconds.
30 seconds, fair enough, 20-30 seconds. Like appreciation?
40 to 40.
So you will go, okay, let's go on 30 seconds. Closing 30 seconds. Somebody closing 30 seconds. So how much of 3 minutes have gone? 1 minute has gone. So you got 2 minutes again. Appreciation, 1 month. Right? Logically. So always think structurally, always think logically. That might not work out logistically in the heat of the contest. Contest can be very intense. Right? And that's where the learning actually happens. And this is something you carry forward into your speeches here also, your evaluation here in this also, in the meetings. The meetings, if you go over 3 minutes, nothing is really, it's okay. You won't get the award for best evaluation during the meeting, but still it's okay. But in the contest, you're straight disqualified. Right? So you have to be aware of that. Any question now about this? Because this is the heart of the matter. Structuring is not the heart, the other part is also more important. Okay. Any questions so far?
So the room has 10 members, and all the 10 members are on of these 10 members, 5 are supposed to evaluate them, another 5 will be checking on them, right? How exactly it is going to work? That's what
Yeah,
I
so-
wanted to check.
Okay, so basically, consider this room, we are around 35 people around here, out of which 10, 12 will be contestants, 5 or 6 will be judges, the rest will be audience. And role players, there will be a few role players, like how Benjamin
So
is
one
doing.
person will be evaluating one person.
No, there will be one test speaker who will come and speak, all the contestants will evaluate that one person. Yeah, so there will be only one test speech that will happen. And because everybody has to have a level playing field. If I am evaluating Benjamin, she also has to evaluate Benjamin, he also has to evaluate Benjamin. If I am giving different speakers, then there is no criteria for the judges to compare the evaluations, right?
Thank you.
Okay, so now you got the structure, you've got your 3 minutes planned out. When the speaker comes, what do you do? Right? What do you actually look for? So before I go to the next slide, let's have some. So I am the test speaker, I am speaking. What are you looking for? Come on, give me some. Let's break it up into 2 parts. One is delivery and one is content. Let's take delivery first. Delivery wise, what are you looking for?
Eye contact.
Body language is very broad. Let's be more specific.
Engaging.
Eye contact, yes.
Eye contact.
Yeah. Eye contact.
Movement on the use of
Movement
stage.
on the stage, or are they fidgeting on stage, or they're using the stage nicely.
Your speech has
Voice
to be
model.
engaging. It should
Engaging is again very wide thing. Be specific.
Voice
modulation.
Voice modulation. Does he use the voice effectively?
Command
Yes.
over language.
Command over language, very nice. Does he speak clearly or pronunciation is clear? One good thing that you brought, accents. Accents, do not comment on accents. Accents do not matter in Toastmaster. We are all from different backgrounds. If somebody will have different accent, I will have different accent, he'll have different accent. So accent does not come in language, right? Just keep that in mind. Please do not comment on the person's accent. But language is, yes, if it grammatically is slightly off, you might want to it, but that's a very low hanging fruit. So I would look for some other things. Yes.
Pacing of the
Pacing of the
delivery of
delivery. Pacing, yes, very good. How fast are they speaking? How slow are they speaking? Is the pace just right? Engaging? Yes. What else?
Connect with the audience.
Connect with the audience. How would you define the connect? with the
Involvement of the audience in your speech.
audience involvement. Are you is he asking the audience questions and engaging them with questions, or they are doing something with the audience that makes them part of the speech? Yeah. What else? Very nice. Yeah. Please. Eye contact.
Yeah.
Yeah. That we already covered. Yeah. Eye contact. What else? Inspiration. Inspiration. I like it. Does he come on stage and smile, or has he given the entire speech, or she has given the entire speech completely different? Makes a big difference to the delivery, right? Yes, very nice. What else? We are looking at delivery. Okay, let's go to content now. What are we looking for in the content? Structure, flow, right? Opening, body, closing. The basics of a speech which we learn every day.
Very useful for the.
Very nice. Yeah. So a speaker has you've given 7 minutes to the speaker. Has the speaker given you value in return? Is it valuable, or is it something random which makes no sense to anybody? That's important to evaluate. What else? Content-wise.
Use of quotes and phrases.
Sorry.
Use of quotes and phrases.
Use of quotes and phrases very well. That makes the speech much more interesting.
Direct, like how clearly is conveying.
Yeah. So that comes to something similar. That doesn't make sense to you. Is it have value to you? But clarity is what is saying clear to you. Can you understand basically what it is that the speaker is trying to say? Yeah, right. Okay, let's short circuit it and move to the. Oh, where did I go? Go to the next. I discussed later. Yeah, go to the next one. Next one. There. Sorry. I think I mixed up the slides. So this is basically 2 sides of the same coin, right? So what do I mean by 2 sides of the same coin? All these can be used for appreciation, and all these can be used for recommendation also, right? Eye contact can be great, or contact can be, right? But you need to know what you're looking for. Similarly, the structure and flow can be good, but the structure and flow can be improved. So they are both 2 sides of the same coin. You have to observe and listen. Observe and listen when you are evaluating. Delivery, stage usage, eye contact, body language, voice modulation, pace of speaking, nervous movements. Okay, I think we got almost everything from the audience today. Content, structure, and flow, transitions. What are transitions? As he jumps from one point to the next point, does he just go abruptly or does he have transition? Now I'm going to talk about XYZ. Does he move seamlessly to the next point? Connection to the objective, which we covered. Language usage. Stories and anecdotes. I think somebody mentioned use of quotes. Stories and anecdotes. Stories make interesting speeches. And last is time management. Not your time management as an evaluator, by the way. It's time management as the speaker, test speaker. So a test speaker has how much time? 5 to 7 minutes. What happens if the test speaker speaks for only 5 minutes? What is the feedback you're going to give? Wasted 2 minutes. What if the speaker gives 8 minutes? Two sides of the same coin. Always keep looking for things, right? I think you'll have to go back to the previous slide. Okay, so structure based, decide the structure, opening, body, closing, right? So opening. In the opening, basically when you're evaluating, what are the things that you need to do to start your evaluation on a positive note, on a strong note? Establishing rapport with the speaker and the audience. Can anybody give me an example how you would establish rapport with the speaker, the test speaker, and the audience? Which is, by the way, code for judges. How do you? I've come as an evaluator. How do I establish rapport with, say Shah has given a speech. How do I establish rapport with him? What do I say to establish rapport?
Acknowledge his presence. That thank you.
Appreciate something that you liked about the speech, for example. Something not recommendation or commendation. Acknowledging. Sham, wonderful speech. Thank you for giving the speech today. Right? That also
Maybe
tells
some
the
personal
audience.
connection with the speech that I also resonate with the
Yeah,
audience.
for example, suppose Sham has been talking very heartfelt about his mom, right? So you can immediately establish this with saying, today I remembered my own mom today through your speech. So many memories came to mind when I was listening to you.
Somewhere
Immediate
where
connection,
we felt
immediate connection with the
resonated.
audience. Yeah? Sorry.
Somewhere,
Who's that? Ah,
somewhere where we felt resonated with the speech.
that is exactly what I want. Somewhere where the speech resonated with you is a good way to make a connection. Talk about the speech connect with you, talk about the speech objectives. Now what I mean is, every speech that a speaker will give will have some objective that you have to pick up. Some will be very obvious, quit smoking. Everybody should quit smoking. Some will be not so obvious. And it might take you a long while to figure out what the speaker actually wants you to understand about the speech. Right? Read between the lines. That could be a good way to open. And that is something which you might have picked up, the other evaluators might not have picked up. So keep an eye open for that. Next. And I think we've got all of them. Let's go back, please. To that. Okay. Next. Actually, the order was right. This comes in the body of the appreciation recommendations. Yeah, we covered that. Okay. One pro tip for you guys. When you are giving a recommendation, something to improve, do not be general. Like a lot of people give me general suggestions, and I kept telling them, be specific. So instead of saying vocal variety could be better, put yourself in the speaker's shoes. Could be better means what? Should I shout? Should I this? But suppose you say something like, when you said the father said get out, you should have said get out. Right? Now you are telling the speaker what he could have improved at that point. You are giving the speaker a very tangible point of correction. Right? So this is a pro tip. When you're giving recommendations, don't try to overdo it by the way. Don't go into a long this about this. Just a simple thing like this, one line. It would make a big difference. See the difference between these two? One is general, one really adds value. And specific, immediately the audience, speaker, everybody understands. Next. So we've talked about the opening, we've talked about the recommendations and this thing, commendations. Now the closing. Summary. Summary is tricky because a lot of people waste a lot of time in summary. And why is this very tricky? Who can tell me why this part is very tricky? No, that's not the reason. I'm talking this closing. Why is the closing tricky?
That
You are in garage 15 now.
You are PhD, right? Yeah, PhD answer, right? I'm looking for a BSc physics answer.
Maybe running short of time.
That's what I'm looking for. Running short of time. Because you are now almost at the end of the speech. The green card has come, the yellow card has come, and you know you are going to get the red card and you need to close. So you have to be very succinct when you are closing. So your summarization should be one line. Speaker did A, B, C very well. X, Y, Z could be. That's it. His body language, your body language was good. Your humor was excellent in the speech. And I really like the personal stories. But what you could improve is your voice vocal variety. Here you can be genuine, vocal variety, or X, Y, Z. So you can make up. So 3 appreciations, 3 recommendations into one line is your summary. After a summary, straight go into your closing. Any questions so far? You went pretty fast for this. Okay. Close the evaluation with a positive encouragement. Shyam, that was a lovely speech. Every time you come on stage, I really love listening to you. Shyam feels good about himself. Share some strong points you saw in the speaker. You are a natural storyteller. Now I really compliment after compliment. And by the way, if you really want a solid evaluation for your speeches, become a test student. Imagine 12 people giving you evaluation on your speech.
Sometimes it happens, one will say, hey, you had a very great course model, so you have to improve course model.
Share some strong points from the speaker and use a callback from the speech. Callback from the speech means some phrase that the speaker used, you can echo that. Right? I see something in you, but I don't know what it is. It was one famous speech by a famous postmaster. That can be used in your list. Before I go into this pro challenge, any questions so far? Either I'm really good or you guys are about to sleep.
I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
There is a segment of summary and then there is a closing segment. When I read the last slide about the closing, it says appreciations, quick brief of the appreciation and
Quick summary of the appreciation
Yeah.
and recommendation.
Will it not become that I am repeating my entire speech?
No, that is why I said one line.
Okay.
You suppose you have three, appreciation, 3 recommendations.
Yeah.
For each appreciation, 1 word. Or 1 or 2 words. Like, I really like your storytelling, your sense of humor, and whatever. So, and these are the things you can improve. X, Y, and Z in very short. Right? And suppose you don't summarize also, I mean, you might lose a few marks, but it shouldn't really be the end of the world. But try and summarize.
If
It's a
I'm
good
short
practice.
of time,
Right?
summarizing is a
Then
bit
then
just a
summarize and
bit.
get off, or don't summarize, close and get off. But just get off before the red card 30 seconds goes, right? Yeah, so it's better to give an okay and not get disqualified than to worry about whether it is somebody also might do this also. Yeah? Any other questions? Pro challenge. Some of the best evaluators I see play judo with the speaker. What I mean by they take the content of the speech and use it in the evaluation. Making sense? Does anything triggering?
Give some examples if you can.
That needs lot of practice.
Okay, I am giving a speech about my train journey from Kashmir to Kanyakumari. What would you use in your evaluation?
The speaker travels from the north to the south.
No, but think a little bit deeper. That's why it's called a pro challenge. So I've given a speech where I'm going from Kanyakumari, then I stopped off with the Venus, stopped off with Mac, geography.
Let's travel
Good.
2-3 points. First I'll come to recommendation, then we'll travel to
So instead of points, can we say stations? So
Yeah.
I'm going to take you on an evaluation journey of these 4 stations. The first station we come to is your appreciation. Second station, I'm going to. So what has she done? She mirrored my content and used that in the evaluation. So look for some opportunity like that. So you don't have to be exactly like that, but if you can use a lot of the content from the don't mirror the, don't just say what the speaker said. Try to use the ideas from it. Right? Make sense? Yes. No. Yes. Yes. Next. Okay. This is we are almost through. Two things to watch out for. Top heavy. When you're evaluating, people have a tendency to go big on the appreciation and leave themselves very little room for the recommendation and closing. I have seen this in experienced speaker also. I have done it myself also. Yeah. So this is something you need to work. So when you remember that exercise, you do 30 seconds, 30 seconds, 1 minute, 1 minute. Don't make that like 2 minutes and then 30 seconds for the rest. And it happens, by the way, trust me, it happens. So don't go too top heavy on your evaluation. Time goes by very fast. Keep your appreciations just as crisp as your recommendations. A lot of people go overboard on appreciations. Second is, do not repeat the speech content. Like she asked, should I repeat the recommendation like this? Similarly, do not repeat the speaker's speech content verbatim, unless it's in context of giving a recommendation. Understood, right? Lot of evaluations I have seen in club level at least. In club level, okay. So a lot of speakers at the club level do this. They say, okay, the speaker started off talking about his this, then the speaker went to XYZ, then the speaker, yes, we know, we were there, we were listening also. Give us recommendations, give us appreciations, right? So don't just mimic the content. This is a very common thing that new evaluators do. So avoid that also. Only time you use the speaker's content is when you are giving a recommendation, appreciation with context. Correct?